So actually what we're going to look at is Judith Collins talking about it in the corridor outside the Privileges Committee, that Te Pāti Māori won't be turning up and refuse to turn up. And it's just interesting to listen to, because what I want to know is what's going to happen. What are you going to do? What can you do for people leaving their seat? What can you do? Let's have a listen.
None of the 3 members of Parliament turned up. They have made written submissions. We've considered the matter and we will be meeting again in the first sitting block to consider further and, if possible, to make a determination at that stage.
Minister, what does that mean? If they say that making a written statement is within the standing orders, is that not the case?
Yes, they've made a written statement. Yep.
What do you make of their decision not to show up in person? Obviously, there has been a lot of focus on this. What do you make?
Well, I'm not focused on it at all, because the people are entitled to. We haven't demanded that anyone turn up, and I think that's just a process matter. But they have made written submissions.
She doesn't sound particularly, what's the word I'm looking for? Like in control. You know what I mean? She doesn't sound like she can't be like, well, they're expected to be there. They're going to be there. These are the rules. And if that, she sounds, I was going to say demure. It's the wrong word, but she sounds more low key than you would expect of a Judith Collins when she is being wronged by that party over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she sounds. It's the most dry balls fucking explanation of what's going on, and it doesn't sound like she cares either. So just let it go.
Yeah, be interesting to see what happens. But more from her,
Today.
Did the written submissions contain anything that the committee would like to follow up with them further, and you request again their appearance?
I don't think it's something I can discuss, but I can say that in the first sitting block we will be meeting again, and we will further consider and, if possible, make a determination on that date.
Does the fact that they've made a written submission somewhat make up for the fact that they're not here today at all?
Oh, people can make written submissions, and some members have chosen to do that in the past.
Will you attend their alternative hearing on May the 7th?
Oh, don't be so silly.
But procedurally, though, does it make a difference, though? Does it make a difference if they've made a written submission?
It's all taken. Tell us what your
then old mate Winnie comes out and have a bit of a chat with him as well.
didn't show up in person today. And
Look, the reason why we've asked the Honourable Judith Collins to come out and speak to you, because she chairs the committee and the rest of us are going to stay silent.
Okay, you have
It's an ongoing matter.
You have given comments on this matter previously
No, I
in
haven't.
previous meetings.
No, I haven't.
When you've come out of the.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Not in the way in terms that you're asking the question.
See, this is the pedantic thing we were talking about earlier. Like, honestly, it's like, I don't do that. I didn't do that. It's a statement. That's not a question. It's the thing. One of the things that I'm struggling with him quite a lot actually is I said this, it was 2 years ago when my dad passed away, and sometimes I hear Winston speaking and he sounded like my dad, and my dad wasn't quite there, and he had this thing at the end where he would say something and then laugh, and it was almost, and I hear that in Winston. I'm not saying it's the same, but it's something that he does, and I'm just, it's a strange thing. It's almost like he thinks he's the coolest kid in town. What I got from my dad was, as he was getting towards his end, he'd be very like, well, I'm not going to answer that. Why should I answer that? But what it was he wasn't quite firing cognitively as well as he was. And it was almost a defensive mechanism. And that's what I hear in Winston. There you go. I've nailed it. That's what I hear in Winston. He's not firing quite cognitively as well as he was. And he covers it up with a smile and a laugh at the end of a statement that he might think is funny. And maybe in the 70s and 80s, he would joke around with the journalists, but it's a very different feel to it today. There you go. I got it out.
You're asking me to make a judgment.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I had the same feeling when I'm dealing with people of his generation, like explaining how something works, or like, oh, my phone's acting all crazy, and you go, oh, it looks like you've downloaded some scammy apps. No, I didn't. Well, yeah, you would have agreed to. You might not have known what it was, but yeah, you've put this on your phone or your computer. No, I haven't. No, I wouldn't never do that. And it's just like they get hooked up on it. No, because it's done something bad. No, I wouldn't have done something bad.
Yeah,
It's like, it's okay. It's okay. It happens to everybody. No, not me. I'm the only one that's never done it.
Yeah.
It's just this pedanticness that they cannot be wrong.
Yeah. That's what it is. I will give Winston 60 seconds or so because he does that in here. He goes off on them for not ask. He basically says, that's not a question, that's a statement. And then the reporter pedantically rewords it to make it a question, and then he doesn't answer it.
Which has got to be shared with my fellow members, and I can't do that.
Okay.
So you're not willing to share any reflections on the fact that Pāti Māori didn't turn up today?
No, see, that's a statement now. That's not a question. Just one more time for you guys in the mainstream media. Get a fix on how this game is properly run. I don't answer statements, I answer questions.
What do you think of Pāti Māori not turning up today?
Well, we'll reflect that in our consideration as a committee.
So he doesn't answer the question. So he's being a cock. You know what I mean? He's just being an absolute cock. Now, whether he's being a cock because he's still as there as he always was, but he's choosing to be a grumpy old cock at the end of his life, or whether it is that idea. And I think I've tried to talk about this with Winston 3 or 4 times, and I think I finally got it, because what I can see in elderly people sometimes who aren't quite there as cognitively as they once were is it's masked by them being grumpier than usual, than making statements which don't make sense as much as usual, and getting angry because in their brain it's not quite working. Now, I don't know whether that's Winston or not, but that's how it's presenting to me at the very least.